looking forward to a walk where I can see my breath. It's that cold outside. We have a thick layer of frost, no snow today, but I'm sure that'll come later on in the week if the weather forecaster is correct. I want to pick up today. I thought this would be a good time to sort of ease into the process in stages of developing or revising or revamping or tweaking our action plan to live our healthiest lives. And there are only 5 steps, so it won't take long to get through this, and I'll do one a week. No pressure. Because all of us need to find our own way and go at our own pace. And what maybe works well for me may be totally contraindicated for you. So with that in mind, my hope is that when we're through with this series, if you'll just work along with me on it, and there, like I say, there were only 5 points to cover, that when the new year comes, instead of making a New Year's resolution, you will have a plan of action that is comfortable for you throughout the new year. Perhaps it's one that you already have in place, who knows, that will get you off to a good start. And when you need a boost of energy, a reward for your perseverance toward whatever goal you had, you can look at your plan of action whenever you need to, and the roadmap that we're developing now to get you to where you want to be. The very first step, I think, is a good one to talk about because it's the one we probably practice the most, and that is to define your goal in writing. Make a commitment, write it down. Maybe you keep a journal. That would be a good place to put it. Maybe you're a Post-it note person, and you could put it on a Post-it note somewhere. But the very first thing is to actually define your goal in writing. There was a study done not too long ago in Dominican University where they found that people who actually go through the mechanics of writing their goals down accomplish many more of them than those who don't write them down. I personally think sometimes it's just a matter you forgot what your goal was in the course of living your busy, active life. That goal just flew out the window and you forgot it. And this way, if we take the time to write it down, we have a chance of remembering it in a more conscious way. So let's give it a try today. Beyond increasing the odds of success, putting your goal in writing will also force you to consider the process that's required, not just the desired outcome. That's really, really important. Not just the desired outcome. It's especially helpful when trying to find goals that might be vague, lofty, or uninformed. And this very first step is a really essential one, and sometimes we don't even give it any thought at all. First thing you need to do is ask yourself the right question. Albert Einstein famously said, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. Have I been asking myself the wrong questions? Now, obviously, he said that as an overstatement just for effect, but the principle is true for making any plan, coming up with any solution, or reaching any goal. Making a perfect plan to reach a goal that is purposeless would be a mistake. Crafting the very best plan to achieve an outcome that is damaging is actually a tragedy. So as we define our goals, we need to take the time it's going to require to ask what it is we really want. What do you want? What do I want? What is the fundamental question that you're trying to answer? Let me just put this in terms of what we deal with in TOPS all the time. I think it'll help reveal the concept, because there are two questions possibly related to each other, and they require a different plan, even though they sound similar. First, the question is, how can I lose weight? A boxer or wrestler may need to find this answer in order to fight in a desired weight class. If you get on the scales before the fight and you aren't within those weight boundaries, you'll be disqualified for fighting. If you're too heavy or too light for the class in which you want to fight. So if a boxer is too heavy for a desired weight class, it's imperative to know this question and be able to come up with the answer. Now, here's a different question that's also related to or confused with, how can I lose weight? And this question is, how can I become more healthy? Almost everyone may need to answer the question at some point in life, as things happen and conditions develop that were not there in the past. It's clearly different from the other question, how can I lose weight? And often confused with it. You may not do the same things you would do in both instances. They may take, in fact, different plans. Losing excess weight may be a part of becoming more healthy, depending on your circumstances and whatever your healthcare professionals are recommending. But losing weight could also be a danger, or it could be irrelevant depending on the circumstances and how the word healthy is defined. It's easy to see the importance of asking the right question when we look at this very clear example that all of us live with. Depending on the question a person chooses to answer, the goal and the plan and the task could be totally different. If a person asks the wrong question, such as, how can I lose weight, when the correct question may be, how can I become more healthy, then there's a greater potential for failure to follow. So the hard thing to do is to define the problem correctly, to take the time to define the problem. The principle is true in creating a written plan for reaching your goal. When feeling out how to take a plan for a given goal and implement the steps that are going to be required to make that plan work for you is really essential. So let's always try, when we look at this, to figure out what we really want, what the question really is, and how we're going to define coping with the problems that may arise correctly. Now, this is all pretty straightforward. It's all stuff that we've already dealt with and talked about, but it's a good refresher course. And one of the easiest places to start building your framework for reaching a particular goal, having a good action plan in place when you're ready to implement, and you have to decide, that's another huge step we'll talk about later on when you're ready. But how are you going to do this? Well, TOPS has been saying this for years and years and years. You have to come up with a goal that is what is called a SMART goal. We all know that it's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That this is what you want to build your plan with. Using this framework will enable each of us to remove any ambiguousness about a goal and craft an action plan that spells out exactly what you need. This isn't just, I want to lose some weight, or I want to lose 17.5 pounds. That's not what this is about. Unless you just want to focus on the number and you just want to focus on losing X number of pounds, because all will be good with your life if you lose those pounds. For me, it's always been not so much about that particular, any arbitrary number, because on any given day, when I get up in the morning, if I go and actually weigh myself first thing up in the morning, I will be at least 2 to 3 pounds lighter than later on in the day, about the time I get ready to go to bed. If I just look at the number, does that mean the day has been a bad day? Of course, it does not mean that. You could have had a really excellent, focused, on-task day that is going to get you to where you want to go, but the mechanics of going through the day, checking in the morning and checking in the evening, may give you two totally different results. And that can be defeating if all you're focusing on is that number. Not too long ago, I had talked about moments of accountability and all the different ways you can be accountable for progress you're making. And those are some of the things I'm talking about here when you say a SMART goal, something that's specific, something you can actually measure. And you can measure many things besides a number on a scale. You're much more than that. You can measure the fact that you walk every day, just that simple fact. You can measure how long you walk, the amount of time it takes you to complete that walk, the consistency, how many days during the week do you go on a walk of some kind? What's your commitment level in terms of knowing that you're on task in that one area? Meal planning itself, not just letting food happen, is a possibility for a SMART goal. Instead of saying, I will lose X number of pounds in X number of days, months, years, whatever, you can actually say something like, I'm going to eat healthy, and then work your plan to empower that. Or I am going to take time every day to strengthen my body, and develop a plan for that, a SMART goal, something that is specific. I want to lose weight is pretty darn vague. I could do that by weighing myself before I go to bed tonight, and then weigh myself again the next morning. I would have lost weight just overnight. It happens very, very often. Is that really getting me to where I want to go ultimately, to be more active, more engaged, stronger, healthier overall, able to do more things? No, it doesn't. But having a plan in action that may cover different areas of my life, and you may have 1, 2, 3, 4 SMART goals going at a time, or you may just choose to focus on one as the one you see most important to living a healthy life. Today and throughout the next week, actually think about what question you're asking. Ask yourself, do I set my goal at being healthy? Or do I set my goal at losing X number of pounds? It's not that the two are necessarily mutually exclusive, but which really gets you to where you want to go. Mrs. Mann said something many, many years ago that I still find resonates with me. And she said many wonderful things that have guided our organization from its inception on very, very strong support. And one of the things that she said so long ago was that people are not just numbers on a scale, that they're much more than that. And she was concerned about people getting healthy. That's one of the reasons why early on she decided we needed a category of membership that was not time focused on achieving the healthiest weight a person could achieve, but could stand the test of time, so people would have a chance to learn what it meant to live a healthy life for the rest of your life. And I think that was so wise. I remember way back when, in the olden days, and this is our 75th anniversary, and while I can't remember the really beginning, I can certainly remember many things that she wrote about in Tops News. And that was one that was really controversial at the time, because there was no such thing as COPS when TOPS first came into being. That came in wow. In terms of honoring that person as the best as in a category, as someone who had reached a target weight and was maintaining it, did not start until 1969. We had COPS before them, but the people that were honored in those early gatherings were people who had lost the most weight in a 12-month period, beginning in January and ending in December. And 1969 shifted all that to the person would be the person who lost the most weight from their starting weight to their goal weight, no matter how long it took them in that year. So again, she had to ask herself a question just about what she wanted TOPS to achieve, just as we as individuals need to ask ourselves that same question. What do we really want? Do we want a person to perhaps too aggressively pursue a number that it damages their health in the process? Because Mrs. Mann's always said that if you lose your health while you're losing your weight, you've accomplished nothing. And so I leave you with that. What is your goal that you're going to strive for? And can you fit it into a framework that is going to be very specific, very easy to measure, achievable, but not aggressively ambitious, relevant, but realistic, and can be accomplished slowly, but steadily in a timely manner? Let's work on that this week as we develop a plan for our lives and enjoy each moment we can during this wonderful season that is bringing family and friends close together again. And I will check back with you next week and see what we can add to our plan for living our best life day by day, every day. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.